Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel once again. In this video I am going to discuss about a special widget called multiple select form field in Flutter. How to use that, where to get the package details, and how you can implement so that the user of your app can select the multiple data from your list or a dialog box that you are showing on your Flutter app. This video will consist two sections. One section show you how you can implement with the help of this package, and the second section will show you how you can store those selected value into Firebase. Not only Firebase but also in other database through your custom APIs. Keep watching this video till the end to get full knowledge of this widget. Without wasting much time, let's jump to the code. But before jumping, if you are new to my YouTube channel, consider subscribing, hit the bell icon so that you get the notification as soon as I upload my next videos. I am in VS Code and I have already opened up my emulator and running my previous tutorial example, that is nothing but Dropdown example. With the help of this existing code, I will show you how you can use this multiple select form field. So I am going to remove this all codes except this first dropdown. Of course, I will change the data which is being used inside this first dropdown. So let's start implementing. As you can see, this is my main.dart file, and in my home properties or in my home attribute, I have assigned dropdown example class. Let me go to this dropdown example class, and I am going to remove this second dropdown and the other remaining things except this first dropdown. Let me come down here. I am going to remove this country name with this size box and also the second dropdown. Now if I save it, this value country names and the second dropdown and the India, whatever the data is being displayed should have gone. Let me save it and see the changes. Now those data are gone. Let me just brief about what I am going to do here. I am going to create a developer profile like you might have seen in Freelancer or any kind of job portal. For this tutorial, we will have three fields. One is for name field, another for developer type, that is intermediate, beginner or experienced, and the skills of the developer. In that skills part, we will have multiple options to select from, like Java, Flutter, Node.js and other things. We will see while implementing those things. Before that, let me rename this dropdown example file to developer profile, because we are going to create a developer profile example, so that will be a nice match with the file name profile, and hit enter. And let's change the class name as well. Ctrl F, and I'm going to change the developer profile and replace all. Now the class name is modified. In the main.dart file also we'll have to modify the name and save it. In the developer profile page, we have this India IN 2000. Let's remove that value also because it is not required for our this example. I just changed it or removed it, and here on the app bar, let me modify it to developer profile or freelancer profile and rename it, and I'll just make the text or the title to the center. There is a property called center title true. Now our freelancer profile is there. Next, let's create a text field where we will enter the name of the developer. For that, I am going to create a text field. Create a text field to enter the name, text field, and I am going to have the decoration here, input decoration. Input decoration will help us to show the hint text or any kind of text or style we want to achieve. We can achieve through the help of input decoration. I am going to write enter developer name, just save it and let's see whether it's coming or not. Now we got the enter developer name field. I'm going to wrap this with the container so that I can give some width to this container or to the text field. Here we have width of 6 for this drop down, and I'm going to give the same width to my text field. I gave the same width to the text field, and instead of aligning this column to the center, let's make it to start so that our text field drop down should start from the top of the column. Now let's create a controller to get and set the value from text field widget. For that we have a text editing controller. I'll just name it like name controller. Just copy and paste this class to the right side of the equal symbol, and here we'll have to assign into the text field controller and controller, and on changed we can do something. On change value is there, and with the on changed we can just print some value like name of the developer, so I'm just going to save it. And here you can see there is no gap between the text field and the drop down. Let's add some gap between those with the help of sized box. Height I'm going to use 10. You can also use media query to give them give a space between those. Let's make it 15. Similarly, give a height before this text field widget so that we should see some gap before this text field to look better. And here I think we can give a border to none, input border to none, so that there should be no underline on this text field, right? There is no underline on the text field. And if you want to decorate this one with the help of border, we can do that. There is a decoration property on our container. Let's copy that one and paste for the container which is wrapped around the text field widget, right? You got it. And just let me give some padding to the text field so that it will be kept inside the container with some spacing between those values. Now our text field is ready and dropdown is ready. But in this dropdown I was showing the country names, but I'll change those value to something else. And here I'm going to rename these countries with the name of like developer types. Developer types is nothing but either you are a intermediate developer, beginner or experienced developer. Those kind of data I am going to keep in this dropdown. Here I will change this value to beginner, intermediate, experienced, and finally let's have something funny, pro. And let's assign this value, let me just save it and see whether it's working or not. So we got beginner, intermediate, experienced and pro. I'm just going to change this selected country to selected developer types, because we are creating a profile for a freelancer or developer profile, so the value should be selected developer type, and replace it. Now we are done with the first text field at the second drop down, which is nothing but our developer types. The next step or the interesting part will come now. We are going to add a multiple select form field below to this drop down. So just let me write some comment. Add multiple select form field here. And to add this multiple select form field, we have a package called multiple select form field, and let's grab that package from our pop.dev. Go to pop.dev and type multiselect form field. This is the package multiselect form field, and just open this one and come to this version section. You have to check whether this version is matching with your installed SDK version or Dart SDK version or not. If you are using 3.0.0, then you should use this version, otherwise it will not work. If you are using the below version, then you should consider using this 0.1.5. For me, I'll install this one because I am using the latest SDK version. Let's grab it from here and add it to our popspec.yml file. Here I have already added few Firebase related packages to store the data into our Firebase storage. This will be used for our second section. Now I am adding this multiselect form field and saving it. Just save it and it will get the packages by running this command flutter pop get, and if you get this exit code is 0, it means successfully your package is added. Now let's come to this readme section, and here they have given the well documentation where you can just copy the code and can use it in your application. For this tutorial I am going to copy this whole code and I am going to use it in this tutorial. I am just going to paste below this container our beginner container or the developer type container. Let's paste it. Here you got error, right? Because we will have to import this multiselect form field, and here I just imported that, and here you will get this one error, autovalidate mode. Here we cannot give directly that one, so you will have to use this class or enum and disable it as of now. And if we go below, we will also have error my activities. Here if we go to this one, here my activities is there, but there is no object created because we copied the code from this minimal example. If we come down, here they have given the my activities and the string my activities result. As of now we just need this one, and we'll just grab that and we'll use it here. I just pasted here, but I'm not going to keep this as my activities, but I'm going to rename this to developer skills. Developer skills. Why I'm going to do that, I'll explain you in a bit. Now I renamed it to developer skills. Let's scroll down to the bottom of that newly added widget. Here you can see there is a title of form, or the data source receives a list of object or list of map type. What is this and how this being are used? Let me explain you a bit. If I save it, we'll have our text form field here, or the title of form. Here you can see all these data are there, running, climbing, walking, and other values you can add as per your requirement. As of now I am going to change this title of form to skills, and give some comma to each widget end so that it can be formatted well like this. Here I am going to change this value to something else. Please choose one or more skills so that it should look good, or it should be informative. Save it, add some const to here so that the blue lines will go away. Let me add const modifier. Just do a quick fix to add the const modifier everywhere possible. Everywhere it is possible. So I just added the const modifier to the possible areas or to the possible widget. Here we have a skills drop down or the multi-select form field. let's keep some spacing between these two widget. One is our drop down and another is our multi-select form field. I'll also assign this width to our newly added form field to match with the above fields. Let me wrap this multi-select form field with the container and assign the width. And as per our above widgets, they have some borders. Let's add the border to the second one. I have added the border to the second one, and you can see there is a underline on this multi-select form field. To remove the underline, we have a border property here. Let's make this border to none. Input border dot none. It will go away, and we will also have the drop down. Okay, this drop down is appeared, right? And there we have some issue with the radius 12.0. Here we have 15. So I'm going to make this border radius to 15. Okay, our fields are aligned properly. The next step will be to change the value to skill names. Rename this value or create a new list of data so that we can use it here. Here in the data source, we are giving or we are assigning values in the key value format, because this data source will accept a list of dynamic, and this dynamic is nothing but a kind of map. So what I am going to do, I am going to copy or remove this all from here, and I'll create a list on the top of our class. Here I am going to create a list of dynamic, and that list name will be skills, and I just paste it here. Here what I am going to do, see here display is there and value is there. If I come to my newly added widget, this is the text field that will hold the key, and this value field will hold the value. Similarly, there is a two buttons, OK button and cancel button. We can change these values as per our name convenient. So I'm not going to change as of now. The list which we just created on the top of our class called skills. If you just come here, skills, I'm going to assign that skills variable to our data source and save it. If I come here, if I just reload it, we should be able to see the properties or the skills value to the latest one. Now what I am going to do, I am going to change these values, like skills in the sense first Flutter will be there, here Flutter, here Java, and here Node.js. Let's add another one called Firebase, because we are going to use Firebase as our backend. Now save it and see the changes. Application is loaded. Okay, let's reload once again to see the changes. Now we can see our modified values as per our skill set. User can select any of these values and he can click on OK to set those values or to save those values. If I select Flutter and Firebase, let's see how it looks. You can see the Flutter is in black color but the background is in red color, which is not looking that much good. So you can change that cheap level style. Here we will modify the color to colors.white and see whether it's going to change or not. Yes, you saw, right? This changed to white color. Similarly, this dialog text style also you can change. You can play around with the styling properties as per your requirement. Now let's see, whenever we are clicking OK, this method is going to invoked. That is nothing but on saved. Here in the developer skills properties, those all selected value will be stored here, and this developer skills can be stored into our Firebase storage or any other backend through any kind of API. Let me print here whatever we are selecting through our dialog box so that we can know. I'm going to just write here skills, selected skills, and I'll print to the below of that line developer skills. I'm going to save it and just expanding the console so that we can see properly. Let me reload it once again. Now the app is reloaded. Let's choose one of these value, Flutter, Java, Firebase. Now we should be able to see these three values inside a square bracket in our console here. If I click OK, we'll see like selected skills. Okay, there is a spelling mistake, but not to worry. And in the below to that we have Flutter, Java, Firebase. So now our implementation of the multi-select form field is done, and I have tried to explain its property here. This auto validate will be used. If you say yes, it will have a validator method, and that validator method will call and will check whether any value is added or not to this developer skills property before submitting the form or before clicking the save button. We'll start the second section, which is nothing but saving these records, whatever the records the user is going to add, developer name, beginners, the developer types, and this skill set. Then we will click a save button and we will store that into our Firebase storage. So let me add one save button below to this one. Before that, I'll give some height after this multi-select form field, and this height will be 45, and below to that height I'm going to create a text button, and on press method and child will be save profile. You can name anything you want to this button. I'm just adding save profile. Give comma at the end of each widget line so that you can format it properly. Let's add some style to this one. Text style, font size will be 14, color will be colors.white, and I'm going to add some style to this one, background style to this button style, to the button style. I'm going to add this background color, and background color will have a property called material state property, dot all. So before this bracket start, let's make the property to color type and give the value colors dot green. Now you can see our button is created and visible here on emulator. The next step will be to create or call to our Firebase storage to store our values. Before that, let me just write down the comment here what we are going to do here. Call Firebase instance to store into our collection. Before calling our Firebase instance, let me explain you or let me show you a good approach to store the data in the JSON format into our Firebase storage. Create a separate class or model. In that model, I'll hold this developer name and the selected developer type and the skills that the user is selecting, and combining those three values, I'll hold in an object and I'll convert that object into JSON, and I'll pass that JSON into our Firebase storage or Firebase collection to store the data into our Firebase collection. So that I'm going to create a developer class here. This is nothing but our model. If you are aware of model or class, then this is similar to that one, developer, and here I'm going to create a property for name, then developer type, and Here this will have list of string of skills. Let's create the constructor to assign those values. This dot name, this dot developer type, and this dot skills. Our constructor is ready because this constructor will hold the data we are going to pass while saving these details through our save button click. Below to that, I am going to create two more functions. One is for converting these values to a JSON format. For that, let's have a map type string and dynamic and to JSON. This to JSON method will return a JSON format data, and this will somewhat look like this. This will be name, key, name, and developer type, Now let's add the skills. One thing you should remember that whenever you want to add any list of data to your collections, you must convert this value in this format: skills, the list variable, then convert this list variable to a map type. This map will give you a value of any kind of object type or string type as per your list type. Then you just return that value and convert this data to again list type. What it will do whenever you try to convert this developer type, or whenever you assign this to JSON value to your Firebase add function or set function, dynamically this skills or this map function will convert your object, a list of object, to a list type in your collection. This will be clear when we store the data into our database or in our Firebase collection. You have to write or you have to implement this map function in your skills property in to_JSON method. Now let's save it and go to our developer profile. Here we are going to call that Firebase collection methods to store our data. Before that, you must have done the Firebase project setup to communicate to your Firebase database. If you haven't done, then watch out my other videos how to do Firebase project setup and how you can communicate with your Firebase collections or Firebase storage. To save some time, I have already done that. So let me write that code. Here we are going to call that Firebase methods with the help of Firebase FileStore class. Firebase FileStore is a class which returns an instance of the Firebase, and with the help of this instance collection we can store the data to our developers. I have already created a collection named developers and I have added that into my rules of Firebase collection. If you go to a Firebase console, you can see that one. If you don't know that, then please watch my other videos to solve that issues. Inside this add method, I will pass our created to JSON method, and to pass that, let me just create a object of developer, import the file. Inside this developer, we will have to pass the values. The first is our name controller dot text value, whatever the user will enter in the text field. The second is the selected developer type, and the third is selected skills. I think this will be skills, developer skills. Here we can see we are getting a error. The argument type list of dynamic cannot be assigned to the parameter list of string. To do that, we can convert this as list of string, and let's pass this object to our add method, and to pass that to add method, you will have to call this to_JSON method of our developer class. If you call in this way, it will convert all our added record inside this developer object to a JSON format, and inside this JSON format we have converted our list to map type. map type and again converted back to list type. So this will convert our list selected skill set, and the thing which we got here like this in an array format, it will be stored in this fashion in our collections. Let's save all the files and reload the app. Now our app is reloaded. Let's enter the values. I have added my name as Lima Tech and the experience type, developer type is experienced, and I am going to select all the skills. I am not going to select the Java, I am going to select these three: Flutter, Node.js and Firebase, and selecting OK button. And the next step will be to click on the save profile and just check whether our data is getting stored in our collections or not. Before that, let me just clear the console and click the save profile button. Oh, we got some error. It says that unhandled exception, type of list of dynamic is not a subtype of list of string. Okay, in this line we have converted developer skills to the list of string, and it says we cannot convert the developer skills, which is a list of dynamic here. Here if you add a question mark after your list, then it becomes a dynamic type. To resolve this issue, what we are going to do is I will remove it from here. Let's come back to our developer class, and here we have a list of string. We will convert this to list of dynamic. Then save it, come back to this one. Also it says the list of dynamic cannot be converted to list of type. So let's make this to a list of dynamic by just casting this value to our dynamic. Let me clear the console and reload the application once again. Application is reloaded again. Let's type Limatech official, and in this drop down I am going to select Pro, and out of these 4 skills I will select Firebase, Node.js, and all of these skills I am going to select. Click OK and clear the console and click save profile. Now our collections data must have been saved. Just change the tab here and see whether we have got values or not. Yes, great, we have got this value into our collections, and here in this skills you can see our values are added in the list format. Array is nothing but list format 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's come to this emulator, change this value to something else, Flutter developer, and here I am going to add a beginner. Let's remove everything, just add one skills, that is Flutter. Save profile. There you go, another record is added, this first record. Here Flutter developer, beginner and Flutter. Similarly add another one with Flutter with Firebase, and click OK, and this should be intermediate profile Flutter. Okay, Flutter developer, save profile. There you see another record is added, MDE, this one Flutter developer, intermediate type and Flutter Firebase. So this is the way you can implement multi-select form field, and you can store data to your Firebase in an array format. The array format value will hold your skill set. Whatever the skills you select from this field or from this multi-select form field, those will be stored into our Firebase. So in this way you can use this multi-select form field in your applications. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. I hope this video might resolve your issues and you can add this kind of exciting features in your app. If you have any problem implementing this one, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be definitely happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end.